Hey guys, what is going on? It's Alexander Williamson here with the secret history living in your aquarium. How's everybody doing on this wonderful fry dizzle? What is going on, Shanna? How are you doing? 503 Aquatics. I'm going to try to wake up at 7 a.m. and not stay up till 7 a.m. Actually, that's fine. If I stay up till 7 a.m., it'll be fine. But on her channel, 503 Aquatics, we're going to be going over some stuff, going over the show finale, going over basically Vivi and what Vivi is, and just some kind of user stuff. And also, that's why I thought today would be an excellent time to do a show on what the things you should breed or stock up on are, or what my predictions are. I'd love to hear your predictions in chat too. Let me get you guys fired up in chat. I mean, maybe you're fired up already, but you're not fired up on my phone. So, let's get that going on. But how's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling? We having a good day? We having a soggy day? I was bummed that I didn't know that there was a whole aquarium aqua expo thing going on in Miami right now, or somewhere down in there, Davie, or one of those palm somethings. Coral Springs, that's the one. And if I'd known, I would have freaking gone, because I'm looking for any excuse to talk to any club. And as you guys know, I talked to a club in Venice. They got hit the hardest, probably them and Fort Myers, of any clubs by the hurricane. And so I spoke to them and just decided, you know what, we're gonna we're gonna speak for free, and any money that they would have spent on plane tickets, because it's like $500 or $600 easily round trip from Seattle to Florida. So just decided that any fees and stuff like that, that we would just donate that back to the club for them to rebuild, and anybody who's like in dire straits in the club, maybe they can help them out and so forth, or like set them up with some new fish to breed and so on. But what's going on? Melissa Turner, I see you in here. I see Corundillion Works, who also sent me some pretty interesting emails that I'm going to have to read closer. Aquachar, what's up, buddy? That's a whole other video I'm going to have to make soon. I've been trying out this product called Aquachar. A friend of a friend basically sent me some, his company, and it's well, I don't want to speak out of turn. So it's essentially like activated carbon with a twist, basically, but kind of like a natural charcoal, enriched and fortified charcoal, essentially, aquarium grade. And so I've been testing it out now for a number of months, and seeing what it can do for instance, sucking up phosphates, nitrates, as a passive element, like not necessarily running it through in the filters, although definitely know that works on the face of it. But literally just putting a chunk of it in the aquarium and seeing what the impacts are on levels and stuff. So it's got some really interesting implications, and they've been doing some good science behind it. So yeah. Um, Oh, if I would have gone, you would have gone. Yeah, I wish. Seriously, any excuse to get down to Florida, or any aquascaping event, or even, it sounds ridiculous, but I would love to be a part of an aquascaping team in the near future. We just don't really have much set up in Seattle, other than a few key folks who just leave Seattle to do it. And it's ironic because we at one point had 3 aquascaping stores running in Seattle. 2 have closed. One's still going and has been open for 10 years. It's the one that I worked at, apprenticed at, essentially, and then worked at, which is Steve Waldron at Aquarium Zen. And that's all like Iwagumi style and jungle or natural style aquariums. And then an entire store of sponge filter, basically. Every aquarium's its own, all on wood or nice stands with nice little aquascapes, like nothing complex in most of the tanks that have 2 or 3 species of fish for sale, because you'd never catch them and you'd wreck the aquascape. But I think they've got usually somewhere between 10 and 20 aquascapes, vivariums, stuff like that running in there at a time. And they're chugging along, obviously, just fine without me when I stopped working there. And there's two great, I say kids, but they're in their early 20s that are running it while Steve is out in Hawaii trying stuff with Medaka rice fish and aquaponics and horticulture and aquaculture and all sorts of stuff. So let's see here. Sorry if I have the sniffles. We've had really bad forest fires about 15 or 20 miles as the crow flies northeast of my house. And the last few days, the smoke was so thick you could only see a few blocks at times, especially in the low-lying areas like where my neighborhood kind of sits. And it's just wreaked havoc on my sinuses. So anyhow, today what I was thinking, because tomorrow morning, and because Jess already did it on the aquatic morning show, I don't know which way morning would be. I'm just doing gang signs now. The morning show, she had Zach, who is their kind of sales rep and new seller, new troubleshooter, human relations, not necessarily HR for the company, but all their customer service and that stuff. He's kind of the tip of the spear for that. And Zach has been in the industry for like, I don't know, 20 years he's been a wholesaler for like Sarah and a few different big wholesale fish companies in LA, and also a few Fluval type companies and Oase type stuff. So he's got a long track record of that. And so I think he's going to be a really good fit for that. He knows a lot of people. But what it all comes down to is now I see a change in, every year I do my forecast. This will be the 5th year where I talk about what it is you guys could potentially easily be breeding and making money on. And for the first time in several years, there's a big twist in it, in that, I used to always take into consideration shipping rates. Like, angelfish are great. They're cool. They're not hard to raise. In fact, I've got about 50 babies right over there. And they're a great fish and everything, and a fun fish, and there's always demand for them. Like, whether or not it's new people who just want one in their 15-gallon or whatever atrocity they're going to commit next, or whether it's, seasoned folks who want to have a big, 300-gallon just full of angels and discus and tetras and, doing something really cool. So they're always a good call. Plus, they suffer from the same pyramid scheme thing that blue rams do, and that shrimp do, and that guppies sometimes do, even bettas these days, where people think, I will buy the nice ones that no one has, and then I will breed them and I will make lots of money because they can have several hundred babies at a time. And that model, which we used to be talking about, okay, so then that means you have to find several local stores around you, or you have to use Aquabid, or you have to use Get Gills or eBay, something. I mean, for a while we could use Facebook, made things a little bit easier, but you got to find your customers. And if you're selling wholesale, forget about it. You're not making your fair share of your money. And quite frankly, the countries overseas where cost of living is lower and all that, they're still being taken advantage of by this industry in large part. Oftentimes it's transshippers and importers and wholesalers that are doing the 50 times markup. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Cardinal tetras and blue neon tetras, they go for the same rate in the Amazon basin. And if you go to places like Manaus or Amazonas, what is I'm getting the magazine and the interior capital confused. Amazonia mixed come in there and you're selling as a native. They don't buy it by the fish. They pay you $4 per kilo, which is like what, 2.38 pounds or something like that. So you know how many fish that is? That's 700 to 1,500, depending on if they're babies or adults. That's how many fish that is in a bag. They pour out the water, they weigh them by the kilo, and then they hand them $4. How is it that we're paying more than that per fish in the US? So there are some cases where it's really egregious, but you're never going to breed them from home for making $6 worth it unless you really build like a warehouse that's very production line and you've got a very specific dialed in system and your margins are razor thin and all that. So what I like to do is have an episode where we kind of just talk about some of the stuff you guys could be breeding, some of the plants you could be growing, and not even necessarily like I'm going to breed this for profit in your head, but nowadays you can with Get Gills, with Aquabid. I mean, you could always list some of your stuff, some of your excess stuff for sale. But right now with Vivi.com, Vivvy, it's $25 flat rate shipping for the whole country overnight. Now, ethically, I only ship overnight for everything other than hardy shrimp, maybe a few like live bears I would ship slow, or USPS like flat rate priority. But everything else, I mean, talking about angels, rams, things like that, cichlids, I would never ship them ground, especially going into winter and fall, where we start getting way, way more shipping and business going on in that sector, anyways. Things tend to get late, it tends to get cold. And if you're doing overnight, you just have to worry about a whole lot less of that stuff. So I guess what I'm saying is that with Vivi, you can sign up right now through the end of the year and you could sell even just like packs of four angelfish or one angelfish for $15, right? They're going to take usually in the future 15%. 5% or so is security protocol with having basically secure transactions and having like a Shopify type system and having banks and credit cards and all that ready to go with a bunch of different methods. But they're waiving that fee right now so that people can get their ratings up. So, because once you get five transactions as a seller, then you can get rated and be, checked off as like verified. Like this person's probably legit. Uh, probably. But beyond all that, Vivi protects both sides of the transaction, which is unheard of, unlike those other sites. Thanks for getting rid of those, Alan. I appreciate you. You are a true mensch, my lad. We don't need no vert girls chat. Don't need no vert girls. We got real girls here in the chat, guys. Put them hands up, girls in the chat. But yeah, so basically, I mean, even if you don't want to use Vivi in January when they change the flat rate or whenever they end up changing that flat rate, I'm telling people with stores that are friends, like, dude, you can ship a box that's up to the large, flat rate box. They haven't really given a cutoff through Vivi for $25 overnight right now. That's a killer deal. One, to be buying fish, but two, I want to see more sellers on there. And I want to see if that drives prices of certain things up or down, or where the prices end up being when it is the consumer that sets the price, not so much the conglomerate of, oh, there's 15 internet companies that have oddball aquarium stuff, Aquatic Arts, Live Aquaria. You guys know the kind of sites. Dan's Fish. Some of those are great sites. Others suck. Arizona Gardens. I'll say it out loud. I think they're a terrible site. But they're the ones who will have, an something like a I don't know, a Pisto Inca 50 or Inca Banshee, something like lizard whiptail cats, and they've got them in stock regularly. Well, what happens when home breeders all around the country, shipping's all the same, doesn't matter, for 25 bucks. Now, if you try to shop those rates on your own, doesn't matter if it's just a bag of fish. It's like 48 as the cheapest I've ever seen for shipping it overnight, priority insured, all that live animal shipping through UPS or FedEx or even USPS for that matter. Let alone you can send a box of them right now. So it's a killer time to at least just try that out. The thing that is still difficult that I want to call out on Vivi is that plants, I can see them being included in fish orders, but most people don't want to pay $25 shipping overnight for plants when they're used to paying somewhere between 12 and maybe 16 bucks, depending on the sender, uh, or sometimes free after, 50 bucks or whatever it may be, because a lot of people just send flat rate and just put them in a little bit of water, put them in a bag. But that being said, if we're talking rare plants or sensitive plants, something like Rotala wallachia or Lagonandrum eboldi, my favorite, those are plants that just don't like the changes of shipping. And so if it's overnight, it's literally got to be hop, skipping, and jumping its way to its destination. There's no, oh, it sat for 14 hours in Tempe, Arizona in 118-degree weather. So definitely I could see where that would be pretty awesome. Chan Law Monkey says, if I could sell electric blue Acaras in a pack of 5 for $25, then the buyer would be getting them at 50% off current market price, even with shipping. Totally. And that's the idea is David, the owner of Aquatic Arts, he's like, you know what? People are going to do this eventually. Like people like Get Gills or Aquabid, there's already free sites that do it. And what he wants to do is basically take care of some of the headache and say, have care sheets, have acclimation guides, have, well, you've got this tank. Maybe we know you like this. So if you want, you can search all the fish that are within that compatibility realm. You can search by fresh water and like, oh, I've got 2 small cichlids in a 20-gallon. Once you upload your profile, what they're working on right now, like the site's only 2.5 weeks old, but what they're working on right now, and we've been building it for 2 years, I've been working with them freelance, and that's why I'm so excited. I can finally talk about it. If we go to vivi.com, well, let's do it right now while we're talking, and then I'll say hello to some of you guys individually. But I just got kind of caught up in my excitement of just the sheer fact that the logistics guys are changing. There's more power to the people right now in the hobby than there has been in years and years, like maybe ever. And so you don't need to just rely on word of mouth, who can drive by your place or meet in a Safeway parking lot and slang a bag of guppies, a dub of guppies or whatever. Now you can create your own line, people like it, start selling it, raise the price, lower the price, whatever you feel is fair. I'm hoping a lot of those Bay Area rice fish breeders are going to start doing stuff. And right now, I would say that is an excellent, around this time is an excellent investment. If you have a little bit of money that you're willing to spend to, in the end, make a lot of money, those rice fish, they lay a few eggs every morning if kept in the right conditions. Now, in the winter, they tend to slow down just because they seasonally have kind of a spawning pattern. So they will have a 3 to 6 month period where maybe they lay eggs every few days, or every day they only lay 1 egg or whatever. But a lot of those high end, they look just like koi, or they look just like, they've got the sparkles and they've got the long fins. Some of them look like little arowanas. Some of them look like, the colors and the body styles coming out of Japan that have finally made it to San Francisco this last year alone are blowing my mind. There's like silver that look like they've got a galaxy on their back, and they've got these long flowy fins and a wider body so you can see, oh, they've got a red dot on their head just like a real koi, like the one with the Japanese flag on it. So it's kind of interesting how all that's going to play in. Now, the other thing is that when shipping with Vivi, they just print you out a label right now, and it's going to be $25. But in the future, they're going to actually do it by region. So you'll be able to search by cheapest shipping and by water parameters. So you can say, I have a tank that's 7.0 and the TDS is 200 or 100. And where should I, and you're thinking to yourself, like, what should I buy? The other thing is Vivi has to disclose whether it's tank bred, domestically bred somewhere in the US or in a farm in Florida or whatever, or whether it's imported. And to me, that's a big game changer, because I think we deserve more money going to breeders who are in their house, in their basement, spending day in and day out, hand feeding, spot feeding their babies, and 10 times a day sometimes with some little fry and stuff. So it's pretty cool. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, hey, we've got a super chat. What is going on, Alan Bauer, buddy, old pal? I don't mean to. So you guys are my friends. You really are my social life, and those of you who hang out with me in person know that to be true. Alan, Luke, Shanna, Kenny, you guys. But all y'all who I talk to regularly, you're my social world. Especially when lockdown happened and just health issues that I had over the last few years, the community here, you are my real friends. And a lot of you, we've had long conversations, we've talked a lot, or we've gone through troubleshooting with issues you've had, and I've seen a lot of your tanks like grow and your skills grow. You've seen my ability to do different things, or knowledge base grow as well. And it's I want to share this not as a woe is me, give me money, but just as a weird thing I've noticed. And I think it has to do with like gas prices and the economy, and like the fact that we're all feeling it, which is, super chats. If you added up all my super chats and membership fees, which get grouped as like what do they call them? Not not monetary like exchange, but they call them transactions. So they call them your transactions when you look at your monthly or daily printout for YouTube. And YouTube's always telling you, today your videos didn't hit your goal, or today they hit your average. And your average, they slowly creep up as ideally your channel's growing. And the channel is still growing, and quickly, again, it started picking up speed again when I started posting after I was in Florida doing no posting, and Chicago doing no posting, and Portland and but it seems like you guys have liked the videos that have come out, touring some of the massive shrimp room like at Grant's, and the one today about the aquascape lounge and lab, where they try all sorts of new stuff that no one's tried. They try new products. They have a bunch of aquascapers working together in there. I don't know if they're going to serve like beer and do like board games or something in there soon, but it looks like they are. And it's really cool. I wish we had that in Seattle. If I had, the startup money of, whatever, $500,000 plus, I'd do it. So, but in any case, what I was going to say is that when I look at the analytics, the memberships and the super chats for me, but then it also has like a YouTube average that it kind of rates you against, have dropped off. So to the point where, usually I'd get somewhere between $200 and $400 a month with all my live streams, all my tips that you can do on videos now, and all of the $199 memberships. Or if people want to pay more, God bless your heart. But that gets, extra access and all that. All the fishery videos all at once, the podcast format of the 4 episodes extra a week early. Plus, it also gets you guys any extra stuff I post, any deals I find that I post, any interesting articles that relate to a video I'm working on or research, stuff that's behind paywalls. Sometimes I can post there because it's not public, so I don't get hit with the copyright violation thing when I just share it with kind of an exclusive group. But so I can share links there that I can't always share. And it's interesting though that I think I've been averaging like around 180 to 220, whereas 400 was the average, and that's through the last 3 months of summer. So either something's changed in the algorithm or people are just really feeling the economy. But I just wanted to just kind of mention, like, Alan, I appreciate it. Anybody just watching, like, I get it. Everyone's on a budget, and I only super chat selective people too. Um, but I just wanted to mention that, like, it's like dropped off a cliff as far as that goes. So it's interesting to see, and then it makes me think, okay, well, where, as someone who's doing YouTube most of their time now, other than freelance graphic design work, I also do. Um, for a while there, actually, so believe it or not, a year ago, I was doing better than I'm doing now monetarily. I think that the Engelhart effect had something to do with a lot of that, quite frankly, too. That dude would come in and he'd drop 100 bones like every 2 weeks or something. And that like doubled the average. There you go. That makes up the difference between 200 and 400. But I mean, there were some months that did really good views and stuff too. And hopefully this winter, I'm making the kind of content that people want to watch and that's exciting people and stuff like that. So, and makes people want to be a part of the community, and they think there's value in that $1.99, because I love doing the research. I love talking to new people that are, when I got to, if I can afford to go to conventions like the AGA, you guys, I have so many videos for you, but that aquascape shop video, that's from the AGA. We have a horticultural center, a conservatory we went to full of incredible plants and all sorts of cool stuff that I'm making a video with. We have another kind of mom and pop aquarium store in Chicago that's kind of old school aquarium that we toured, that I'll have a video on. And then we have kind of an overview of like Andre Longarco and just us goofing around and meeting different people in the hobby, and people like George Farmer and stuff, like us late at night outside hanging out basically. Are we taking $500,000 after tax or pre? Are we talking $500,000 tax before after tax? I don't know, Alan. I don't know, buddy. Probably before. Seattle, yeah, you'd have to have like 6 months rent ready to go and all that. So, all right, guys, how are we doing? What's going on? Let's say hello. Let's see what people got going on here. Let me look at the actual chat. And pardon me if it looks like I'm just staring down into nothingness. This camera is mounted at like eye level, but if I do that, I need to get some glasses, I think, because if I put my phone here that has all the stream going through it with you guys chatting, I'm like squinting and I can't see anything, so I'm just going to leave it here. But I do need to figure out a better system for that. I need like a teleprompter or a tablet set up here. Also, I want to get some GoPros for the channel that are waterproof for when I go out collecting, because I swear to you, I'm going back to Florida the second I can get there. Last night was a virtual talk, and I was very sad that I didn't get to go back down there. And then the fact that Miami's having their Gold Coast freshwater, saltwater extravaganza that their club puts on it down there. Aquafest, I think it's called, which I feel like there's a few of those now. But it makes me kind of bummed that I wasn't down there, because I want to go down there and spend another week again. collect fish. And this time, actually, I want to bring back the fish because Grant's got some of them and may send me some, but I want to like make sure I do it right, get the right paperwork, so that I can then breed those fish at home and sell them, because that is one of the biggest things right now in the hobby. That when Vivi goes up is live, people are paying crazy money, $10 a shiner for shiners, you know, for rainbow shiners or blue sided or red line mountain darters or orange throated darters or rainbow darters, candy darters. Like some of these fish that are natives, it's not like they're impossible to breed either. So if you can get them from someone like Jonah's Aquarium or somebody you know with the right permits, or you just get them in your backyard and you don't tell anybody otherwise, and then you breed them in your tank, at least for the generation you're selling. I think that's how we're going to get them into the hobby again. But there are just some chef's kiss beautiful fish out there that are native, like sunfish too. There's a pygmy sunfish that's not banded. It's called a pygmy banded sunfish, and it is an elosoma, but it's like yay big. Maybe about, it would fit in this palm of my hand, but it's not the little teeny elosoma types that are, you know, bright blue, and there's 4 or 5 species of them. All right, guys. So Kenny, what's going on, man? How are you doing, my brother? What else is going on? Discordia Creates. The local fish store here said they can't legally sell native fish. I definitely want a license for 1 or 2 ones. Yeah, so that's one of the problems too, is you can't sell native fish from your state a lot of times, but like flagfish are native and they sell those in aquariums stores. So the real problem is either someone has to break the law in the first place and start breeding them at home with some contraband, or they need to go through and get all the right permits. Then they can sell wild caught. But the real issue that they're worried about is that you're catching fish from the wild to meet market demands, and that you might not know what the bycatch is or how many to harvest. Or if everybody started jumping off bridges, then we'd have no darters left or something. You guys know what I'm saying. First class fish. I want to do these guppies I saw recently in Japan, Karn or something like that. Yeah, they're koi style. Yep. Those are very cool. I definitely think breeding those will be a very smart idea. Guppies don't always need to be shipped overnight. I think it's far better for them and for the survival rate and for everybody's mental health, as well as the fish's health and stress level, if you just overnight ship them. But the fact that on Vivi it's $25, I just can't get over that. Like, they're losing money on this promo. So even if I want Vivi to succeed, I also would like my friends to succeed in selling. And so if it ends up flying the plane into the side of the mountain that is Vivi, and bankruptcy or whatever for doing this incredible shipping deal that they are losing money on average, so be it. Let's get a bunch of our friends to slang their fish for that price in the meantime. You have a few koi endlers or guppies, don't you, Alex? I do have a few koi of the endlers, and let's see here. Yeah, I want to start. I have some Kohaku ones. Also, I have some Bleeding Heart platies that are like the Bleeding Heart tiger's blood. So they've got the red bars on them, and then they're kind of like an albino to leucistic kind of pinkish clear color, with then like some of them have like metallic banding on their tail or Mickey Mouse marking on their tail. Even people have been crossing all sorts of stuff. If you live in the middle of the country, Vivi's shipping probably won't be changing a whole lot even after the first of the year, because they're going to charge by zones. So me up here in Seattle, if I sell to Florida, that's 5 shipping zones. But if you live out somewhere between like Illinois, Indiana, Arkansas, Ohio, wherever you are. Well, Ohio is even not the best example, but it's still better than Seattle in that you only could ship 3 zones, and it goes up like $10 a pound or whatever. I don't know. I don't know the exact rate, but it goes up like $10 per bag of fish essentially for overnight shipping per zone. And so yeah, the other thing Vivi's going to be doing is monitoring the weather and stuff like that, telling you when's ideal times to ship. And then the other game changer is that they'll be very soon. They're going through the last of what Aquatic Arts has on hand, but they're going to be bargaining to print their own. I know because I'm the graphic designer. Print their own breather bags, print their own shipping boxes that are like 3 or 4 standardized sizes, shipping normal bags, hopefully with the gusseted rounded bottom. That's my 2 cents that I told them when I was working on the art for the bags and stuff. But yeah, I mean, they're planning on coming out with everything you need, almost like a ship station or something, at only 15%, which is way lower than a lot of those companies. All right, US Scaper, what's going on? Scatty Nona, what's going on? Crazy 84 degrees today. Wow, that's warm considering Miami. I saw it was like 66 or something. Alan, you hit 75 today. You're in Cedar Rapids, right? Cedar Falls, Cedar standing in the forest. Does it make a sound? First class fish. We pulled 3-foot catfish one year, and we were all shocked because we swam in it all. Oh, one of your ponds, huh? So nice to have a solid source for packaging. It's the main gripe I have with shipping stuff right now. Nirvana Aquatics, yeah, I totally hear you. The other thing that I want to put out there is, if y'all know me, yeah, it's 49 in Seattle, smoky still somehow, and raining. Very similar to you, Ken. Down in Portland, they got 51, rain, and it's Portland. Man, 3 things against you. But yeah, I mean, the nice thing about the shipping bags and stuff is that we have a freeze. Why am I frozen? Can you guys hear me? Is it just okay? Yeah. So in any case, yeah, the shipping bags, they're looking at buying, and I'm not kidding, like 300 grand worth of printed boxes that say Vivi, that have a barcode on them, say live animals or whatever, and fragile, and this side up, and then they'll just fold together, and then also they'll have tape that has Vivi art on it, so the actual Vivi imagery. And I don't think I'm allowed to share that with you, but maybe Vivi has some of it on their website that I can share with you guys, like what I did to design wise, so you guys can check that out. So hold on, let me pull that up. Crazy Aquarium guy, what's up? How's it going? Vivi, yes, okay. All right, so if you guys take a look at the background here, all these fish for saltwater and freshwater combo, those I did those. What I wanted to show you is this too. This ever evolving, this is all of the main families or orders or species and genus. I made like a few thousand of these total, of basically taking a filter and applying it over the photos Aquatic Arts or I took, and then cleaning it up by hand with digital stylus. But you know, on here, yeah, like there's some more of my art. So you kind of get the feel for what's going on. But also then when you go into, say, freshwater invertebrates, then there's this, which gives you a guide to every major grouping, and it depends on how narrow your search is. So you might say freshwater fish, cichlids, then it might have specific cichlid types. Whereas for invertebrates, of course, it's going to be very diverse. You've got everything from like crazy uh, yaba yabbies out of Australia. And then you've got all sorts of, you know, zebra mussels. You've got caridina, neocaridina, all that stuff. Now, I understand a lot of folks don't want to ship those overnight, even the expensive ones. But I think it's what's best for the hobby. Now you can see here, even though I would say, guys, go use my Aquatic Arts discount code Alex15, get 15% off and free dry shipping if you do dry shipping on its own as an order. But right now, everything on Vivi.com, if you go to the top, there is a banner. Let me see. Can I hide this? There's a banner. That's 10% off because Vivi's not taking their cut either. So they're not even taking their 10%. And then the credit card companies, banks, they still need their 4.8% or rounded to 5%. But that 10% that Vivi, in theory, is going to be taking to deal with all this and to put stuff on here, like the fact that you can go in here and go to the Learning Center and you can look up, boom, how do I know when to float, drip, or plop and drop my bag? And then it goes through all this info. Well, I also help with infographics and stuff in a lot of these cases. So that's why I've also been familiar with them and what's going on there. But they also give you some interesting stuff when you're looking around the website. Like, let's see here. Is it analytics? Hey, stop that, computer. Don't you behave like that. Yeah, compare your aquarium keeping practices to other hobbyists. So this is what's going to come in handy, and I won't even need to do my prospectus reports and thoughts on like, oh, you could breed this, you could breed that. Because right now I'm saying breed the heaviest fish you can that's rare. Rare cichlids, rare oddballs, catfish, plecos, you name it. Go ahead and breed them. If you can get them out the door before the end of the year and on Vivi, it's a killer deal. So on here though, they've got like your average person, when they ask them online in aquarium related websites and surveys, how many tanks do you have on average? And the average aquarium hobbyist seems to either have like 1 to 0, like most people, but the average hobbyist has 10 or more tanks, and they spend an average of 8.9 hours a week on maintaining it. The advanced expert category is who does that, the 9.1%. Intermediates seem to have about 4.6% of them have tanks of a high amount number wise, and also like time wise, they dedicate a lot more than 4 or 5, or a lot less than 4 or 5 hours, like we see in the high end or advanced scapes. Yet beginners spend more time than intermediates. So you can tell they still have the learning curve of they need to learn. So it's interesting some of the stuff we can deduce from these articles and from data that is being gathered from all over the world. Also, they've got articles they're going to have articles by featured people. Those are my red root floaters there. So again, like lending my photographs and things to a lot of this. even just this bottom banner, the choice of like, oh, do we do gray here? How do we have, for instance, I'm not a seller on Vivi yet, but I've gone in and I've shared my lake inlay tank, and I've got what it looked like when there was nothing in it, when it was just hardscape, what it looked like as it was growing in, what it looked like at its peak lushness, and all the fish in it. I've got where Myanmar is, that the biotope is, and info on that. I've got my concept idea that looks crazy now, but that's how I planned out the tank. There's my little terrace and the towers I made for that tank. And then I've got pictures of the actual part of the world, plus a picture of my social media. So you guys can promote your social media, not in the sense that you can't have a hot link at this point anyways to your site for just a random reason, but you can go into, like, if we go look for community and we go look for some other seller or buyer, even, it'll have visible to other people, it'll have like their vlog, their website, whatever it may be. So Vivi's totally cool with you guys actually selling to a wholesaler, selling to your local fish store, and selling on Vivi. That's all good. The main thing that's important is if you're selling, to build your tanks, and you can build one tank like this and share it and say, all my neocaradinas are in here, because what really matters for sellers is that the water parameters match up with the ones you keep, so that people can know and have the best chance of doing well. I also did like some of my wild collecting where I didn't even take the fish home like we're talking about. In most cases, I just looked at them and talked about their history and their resiliency and all that. So I think that's kind of fun. Plus, your photos are what really make it pop. So if you're a good photographer, you can make it just look killer. Plus, just like I did in the lake inlay tank, I just took pictures and wrote on them like ahead of time, knowing that there wasn't a text box or anything down here. Now, my main gripe still is that under current tank parameters, they've got all this info about phosphates, ammonia, dissolved solids, nitrate, nitrite, general hardness, temperature. And some of it can get even more specific. You can add your EI, your estimated index dosing. So you can do like, oh, I use 0.004 parts per million potassium and 0.02 parts per thousand iron, whatever it may be. And so if you're selling plants and things, or sharing an aquascape that's just really high tech, that can all be listed in here. Let's see if I did a plant tank. I don't remember. Austin, Alan, are you selling? I'm not selling yet because I don't have anything to sell other than my Malua shrimp, which is kind of rebounding at this point. But I plan on selling on there, and I'm hoping I can get my fish bred by the end of this like, I don't know, maybe November, before shipping gets too cold or too crazy, so that I can get some things out, make some extra money for the holidays. Definitely. Do you need to have any special licensing through Vivi to sell livestock? No, you do not. Yeah, it's as easy as that, lady Rorschach. You just sign up. they do generally like take a look at you, and they want to like kind of see that you've taken good pictures of your fish, and they'll take a look and they'll see like if you took a picture and your tank's just crammed and awful and your fish room looks like it's one of the sets from the Saw movies or Hostel, they might call you and contact you and try to find out more info and detail. Also, if you're going to be just a transshipper or wholesaler, that's when they're really interviewing you and getting into ethics and talking about like, all right, where's your boost coming from? And they're going to actually keep track of those things, which no one has ever attempted on any site because it's a big task, and they're actually making it so like Hygrophila polysperma, that's a beautiful plant that you can usually buy at local fish shops, even though it's illegal in most states. But it's in this kind of gray list, technically blacklist. You're not supposed to buy or sell it, but you can possess it. That's the law in most states. Because that way you're not in trouble if it's on your boat prop or on your canoe or whatever. But that's one where they sell that at local fish stores, and I've seen them both come in and bust them for that when it's a public fish store where everyone can see. Some states it's not illegal, but I would say that like you don't, yeah, we don't need, they don't involve any special licensing or anything like that unless you start dealing in some of these kind of questionable areas where it's kind of like, wait, where did you get Brazilian, leopard frog plecos or zebra plecos for such a crazy price? But I'm kind of trying to push people who have shops like, I've tried to push Jason, but he doesn't want to expand. And that's totally understandable. But I want his Epistos listed on here, so I only have to pay $25 shipping, because right now, otherwise it's like $50 shipping. But I want those Epistos. Plus, everything is 10% off with the code that they're giving for everyone, and everything is next day shipping, $25. But if you're a seller, you can say, yeah, I don't want to ship any day except Mondays and Thursdays or whatever, And then it should give you alerts and things as to what the weather in the place you're shipping to is. So there's so much stuff built in here to make it a smart experience, and a dedicated library. I mean, they teamed up with Fishbase too. And so they've got, and like here, this is another way where I am pushing not just my fish, but I'm pushing my merch. And I have the info of, oh, you can get it on my YouTube channel. Then you just get out of there. And if they want it, then they simply right over here, if I wasn't logged in, if this was someone else's stream, it would just say, email, tweet, whatever, however they want to be contacted. So they don't even they're not even that worried if people start contacting one another about things, because they see each other on Vivi, and then they're like, oh, let's talk about this outside of the Vivi ecosystem. They're not that worried about it, because they want to do what's right for the fish. They want to change the way this is done, and they want to be the ones to do it. So I don't know. I think it's really cool. That's enough promoting them, but I just felt like I had to explain all the ways that that's really changing the fish that I'd say to breed, because otherwise I'd be saying, oh, go wild, breed CPDs and erythromicron and rainbow shiners and stuff like that, and that's the biggest bang for your buck. Or small rainbow fish, pseudomagills. I think they're still a good choice, and if you're selling locally to fish shops, there's still a good choice in that maybe you'll get $2 a fish, but they're selling it for $8. So why not hop on Vivi, sell them for $6, undercut everyone, and you're still going to be getting that $6 instead of the $2 or $3 or whatever they wholesale will pay you, even in store credit. So I'm honestly surprised that more people haven't flocked to the site. But if you're a seller and you think you're going to be selling more than 1 or 2 things a week, let them know that I let you know about it, because I've been working with the development team and I know Zach well, And they even have some extra perks like, oh, they'll feature you, each day for 20 minutes or whatever it may be. So if you are one of those serious breeders I know a lot of you are, that have a dozen species that are ready to go, that you want to list them and sell them, let them know or let me know. I can contact them. They're waiving that 10% fee out of the cut. So basically, you won't have to take into your mental mathematics of, oh, what's the price for um, this or that. You still need to come up with what's the price for a box and all that stuff and fit that into the shipping, because right now the boxes, the heat packs, the plastics, bags and rubber bands and vinyl breather bags, things like that, they're not included in that total. They're included in the price of the fish. And so I figured I just wanted to make that clear also. But there aren't that many companies that make breather bags. Like the company that does like Cordon, for instance, they make about 30 kinds with labels printed for other companies like Aquatic Arts or whoever. But it's all cordon bags being printed in like one big factory. And so we're still dealing with these ongoing COVID-y effects where materials, maybe they needed to make IV bags, or they needed to, I don't know, lay a fiber optic cable in more tubes with sheathing and whatever. And there's just not enough to go around. So the people who want it the most, who need it for the most expensive uses, are going to get it. Whereas it used to be dirt cheap and now it's hard to find altogether. So I think that stuff's cool. There also will be food, live food, dry food, cultures, all that kind of stuff, which I don't know. I think all that's fun. They're also going to be adding amphibians and maybe even reptiles, which all of that I'm super stoked on. But what I was saying too is like, here's a bunch of my art. Now I'm not selling it here through Vivi, but I am saying, hey, check out all this art. If you want it, and you can then share that in the description, like you can say, well, this didn't come from a tank. This came from the tank of my imagination, or the tank of whatever, the ghost of 1996 when I was started selling fish or something. You don't have to own up to it necessarily right off the bat until you're sure you like the system and all that. But all of this I can mention over here and tell people how it's made and where they're where you can apply the patterns to different products and things, and then basically uh, Teespring's policy or Vistaprint or whoever. So you can use it for your own promotional ends as well, or for your own educational ends as well. So yeah, so I mean, overall, I'm gonna say breed the big fish, breed the rare Synodontis, the rare cichlids, especially if they're mid-sized, like a 4 or 5 inch. Breed the pretty ornate, very rare angels. I think a lot of nano fish too are going to be going for that right around $10 range, like Scarlet Batis. Even though I still see them from time to time, like for $3.99 or something when they're wild caught, they're having problems in that Ghats region of India, and same with like the Malabar pea puffers. So maybe someone wants to breed figure eights or hairy or potato puffers. What's with their names? Yeah. Alex, man, you need to start a fish related clothing line. Your art is so cool. Well, thanks, First Class Fish. I do kind of have one, and I donate all the money from my sales on there to basically causes related to preservation or to um, fish research, fish anything, basically nonprofits related to fish. Um, Hello, with all the dark night of fall, Scandinavia and Denmark. Well, Kent Ajik, welcome, and it's good to have you here. Um, I used to, I plan to use Vivi for my angels once they inevitably start breeding. Right on, Brooklyn. You can still sign up as a buyer and just make a tank that shows like the plants you have and stuff, because people can look at that and then they can hit you up and be like, hey, I saw your tank. And right now they're still building out the messaging features within Vivi. Like it's a whole big suite of software they need to develop, but they're totally wanting to hear from everybody, and they're really sincere about like, okay, we got 9 votes for this, 10 for this. Looks like the biggest concern going on right now are these 3 things. We've got the money to fix those, so let's hit those first and then see what people say once that's fixed. It's pretty amazing how much what's the word, I don't know, how much has gone into it, how much they put on the line for it. All right, guys, I feel like standing, and so I wanted to make sure this thing's pointed at me. Um, yeah, bettas are another great one. Like wild bettas, those are like crazy. Those and rice fish. They used to be like you can't give them away for freaking $2. Nobody wanted my baby bettas that were just generics, and now people want them no matter what for $5 all day long. But if you look into like gouramis, like an opal gourami or 3-spot gourami, I know Alexander Engelhart, for instance, had a space where he was having an average of 300 to 600 babies every spawn, and then growing them out in their own tanks. And so he was supplying, I think, like Aquarium Co-op and a couple other places with this special a special setup and special, like, they told him, if you can hit this target, if you can get to this number per month, then we'll buy from you. And so it lets people gear up. Also, with your wish list as a buyer, that wish list then kind of functions as, oh, there's 32 people who want long fin white albino bristle nose or 24 karat gold coolie loaches, whatever it may be. It allows them to say, oh, okay, there's a desire for that, there's a need for that, and I'm going to target it. So for people who are sheer, I guess, business folks on here, it still makes sense in my opinion, especially for now with the price stuff going on the way it is. But in the long run, I don't know. They may have to make some tweaks to it. But yeah, I'm sorry, guys, that my eyes are starting to fade. In that the Benadryl that I took before the stream to stop from sneezing, making me tired. Hey, Jerry Serple Morris, what's going on? Alex, I'm having a shrimp die every day or two in the tank that has a serpentine rocks. Do you think the rocks can cause the die off since the fish are doing fine in a slow and it's a slow? No, I think probably what's happening. Look very closely with a high-powered LED, even if it's like if the highest power you have is like what's on your phone, your flashlight. Look at your shrimp carefully and make sure they don't have any milky parts of their body. So like make sure that they're the part of their shoulder and head where, like, hold on, I can probably point this out in this little illustration. Make sure that this area, if I can find it again, hold on. Okay, so right underneath the shoulder, stop that. Underneath the shoulder on your shrimp here in the head where the, like, quote unquote ear looks like it should be, see if there are little white stringy things in there. If there are, it's probably scutellaria. And it's probably just slowly spreading and grinding down the immune system, even though it doesn't kill them directly or eat them directly. The next thing I would say to check is the each shrimp that you can see when you hold a light up to it in a little critter container, look for a milky color or a whitish color of flesh, especially if they have that translucent property and they're not so opaque with one color. There's like a shrimp wasting disease that's like muscle tissue, and sometimes it's water quality, sometimes it's just diet, stress, yada yada, and they will spread that. They'll die, and then the other ones will come eat it, and I think it's some sort of maybe bacterial infection. So I would recommend that, looking into those two things first of all. Are pygmy cories safe with rosy loaches? 100%. Great choice of fish together. Alex, I'm definitely going to post pictures of my aquascape. Can we post more than one tank? Yeah, you can have like 12 tanks. I think you can have infinite tanks. I think you can only have 15 pictures of each singular tank. But then you can list the inhabitants too. So you can put all your fish in there, and you can start with a common name, and then it'll populate with the Latin name or vice versa. Now, if it doesn't show up, let them know that it doesn't show up. Just email them or bug Zach. But yeah, we'll talk more about it in the morning too on the aquatic. Not the aquatic morning show, the cartoons with the lovely Shanna from 503 Aquatics and with Jason. Yeah, serpentinite does have heavy metals sometimes. I mean, so does like cinnabar and stuff too, but usually it doesn't wear off in the course of a few months or whatever, to most critters. But there are some deposits that are nasty enough that you may want to watch that. Copper is also, when shrimp start dying slowly, I always wonder if copper's in the water. So if you can get a printout from your city or state or the municipality where you live, or even test your well water, whatever it may be, it's usually covered for one test every year or so, for purposes of inventorying and checking the actual health of your drinking water and all that. But sometimes there'll be stuff like copper in it, and you'll just be dumbfounded, like, why are there nitrates and ammonia in my water, my drinking water? Hey Alex, thank you. Just got these shrimp. Happy I didn't add them to my other tank. Yeah, be careful. It's not super common, but it's common enough that I've had it happen, and I know other people have had it happen. Also, like I mentioned, I did a talk last night, and I hate talks online versus talks with real people when I'm standing and I can move around and I can read the audience and see what people are driving with, what they're interested in, what slides maybe I want to skip, that kind of thing. And so I was a little bummed that I didn't get to go be down with the club down there in Florida and all that. But obviously with everything going on, I totally did it. But if you guys watched the video that I made yesterday called 15 of the earliest warm water or truly tropical fish, I'd love any input or feedback, because that's the core of the talk that I want to be giving. I've only given it twice, and I've given the other history talk about the 10 moments that most impacted our aquarium hobby for growth or for revolutionizing it. And so I think, I want to keep doing these historical ones, but I'm wondering if I need to keep it much shorter, cut it up, or if you guys like it longer with the deep dive, with the extra info, if the slide format works, or if I need something else. I'm curious to know. So let me know in the comments on that. It'd be great. And you only grow from constructive criticism. Sometimes destructive criticism, but you know, whatever. Brooklyn, awesome. I will post all my scapes and list all hardscapes. Right on. Yeah, for hardscapes and your like your inspiration. I mean, in your photo gallery for when you create a tank as a buyer rather than a seller tank just needs the water parameters and then the fish that you're selling. Like there's one goldfish or there's 40 goldfish, and then it'll count the quantity down as you sell them. That's really what that's for, and it's so it warns the buyer what the conditions are, and so it can refer them to the right article about how to acclimate, how to, um, you know, ideally how to source fish from water that's similar to yours. A lot of people have setups in totes. Don't be embarrassed. I'm sure they're beautiful. Anyways, that's how like freaking Crystal Castleman takes her pictures and lists her plants. She's got them in Tupperware. Thank you, honey. My wife just got home, guys. Not to sell, but for information. Is that a thing? Yeah, 100%, Brooklyn. I mean, that's what I'm gonna ask people to do now. If you guys like have your tank crash, I'm gonna ask, please create a profile as a buyer or whatnot on Vivi. That way, you guys can come to me. We can pull up your tank. We can say, all right, Bob Bean fought. I'm so clever. Think of the names. You got your filterless vase ecosystem, huh? Well, I'm reading here that you don't have a filter on it. You got kind of a lasagna substrate thing. Oh, it's in the window. How's the algae doing? Ooh, you use silicate sand, and your problem is you are getting diatom or hard powder algae on that inside curve and you can't clean it. Well, I'd get some neorites because they're going to eat that right off the glass for you, and they're about all that's going to do that. And then they say, okay, well, I'm using RODI or I'm not, or I just put in a couple extra plants and the current temperature is 72. And then I might say, oh, and you've got a German Ram in there? Well, no wonder you're having trouble. So that would be awesome if people could send links to their Vivi tank, to their symbolic or very real, I suppose, too, Vivi tank link, and then I can look at it and I can be like, okay, well, looks like this is under control. Oh, that doesn't make sense. Let's look there first. And I think it's going to help things go so much faster. Plus, it's just fun to share, like, you know, I want to put these fish in. This is what it looks like in nature. And this is all just pictures from uh the main gallery. And then you can also have what inhabitants are in there. And I haven't even finished this. You know, even in the months that I've known about it, I wasn't sure when we were going to launch or anything. So really, I've been hustling to work on that and traveling and all sorts of other stuff lately, which is awesome. Great. I thank you all. If it were up to me, I would go speak to clubs all the time, and I've been having a blast doing that. So I hope this was a little bit insightful and maybe kind of shows some of the trends that will be changing in the near future, simply because of Vivi and also because of the site. What's it called? Band. Um, that's another way people are listing stuff and getting around. You know, issues with selling on like Facebook, live animals and stuff. So I hope to see you guys around, and I hope that maybe Vivi can be the perfect alternative for you guys. But yeah, you can put your tanks in there and share that link then on your social media, like on your YouTube or Facebook or whatever, you can share that and say, yeah, check out my aquascape. It's super cool. I use this, this, and this. And check out this hidden waterfall feature that I put in. So a lot of it's up to you, though, on how you want to organize it, whether you want to just include it as infographics on your each picture, or whether you want to just mention it or just show it with pictures. So there's a lot of freedom on there, but definitely, Brooklyn, that's what it's for. All right, guys. So I also see that Canadian Gamer Dude, Stoned on Canadian Gaming, also gave me a super duper duper trap chat. So I have to thank him. Yeah. Thanks, buddy. $1.99 out of Canada. Gonna get me some maple syrup, some true maple syrup. Then I'm gonna throw up because I'm allergic. I do love that flavor though, but I'm allergic to true maple syrup, and I'm thinking about Canadian Gamer and the fact that he could include a free bottle of syrup with every purchase. I don't know, just brainstorming here. Time to spam the big fish tuber channels with Vivi links and scapes. Rate my scape. Yep. Exactly. More rate my scape. What am I doing wrong? Those sort of things. It's going to be awesome for it. And so I recommend, even if you're not selling, even if you're just going to be in the buying wing of things, check that out for sure. And again, I'm going to get off of here soon, guys, tonight, because I'm just getting tired with the old the bennies, the Benadryl kicking in. But I love you like chicken, baked, fried, or otherwise. And I appreciate your thoughts. I appreciate your input as always. And y'all coming around, stopping by, saying hi, chit-chatting, riff-raffering, and hopefully Tuesday, which is the new time I'm going to shift to, Tuesday in the afternoon around 3:30 to 4:30, somewhere in there. I'll let y'all know. That will be the next live stream, unless something unexpected happens. And tomorrow, guys, 7 a.m., which is 10 a.m. East Coast time, we'll be talking about actually like how do you sign up for Vivi, what's going on, and even more detail on the Aquatic Morning Show. Oh, holy cannoli! I see that we've got Kent given up a DKK, or a, what is that, Deutsch Kroner, I don't know, Kroner crab krone, that whatever your currency is that I am so ignorant to. But thank you so very much for 17 of your crabby crown kroners, I'm guessing. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. And anybody, that membership, the $1.99 membership, it means so much to me. I know a lot of people think, oh, it's not that much, I'll just give a super chat. It's just great because I know it's there. It helps. It's reliable. So I do want to give a shout out to all of y'all who've been loyal, and to all of those who are not loyal. I know where you come and chat sometimes. That's about it. I can't do anything. All right. So guys, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you and you and you and that one in the spotlight over there. He don't look right to me. And you. And we'll talk again soon. Doodly doot 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 doot. Guys, take care of your critters, your plants, your fish, your back, your kitty, and your stack of Amazonas magazines. And of course, take care of yourself, because if you don't do that, you can't do all the other stuff. So I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I'm not a crook. If the president does it, it's not illegal. Attica, and I will talk to you guys. I will talk to you on Tuesday, the day of the twos. and tomorrow if you're around. If you sign up for Vivi, like I said, if you're selling mad stuff, if you're selling more than 3 or 4 things a week, let them know that I sent you. I'll talk with them a little bit about it, and I think we can probably extend some of those special deals of like your first 5 purchases or sales rather, they waive their fee. Well, in my back pocket, I got a little something depending on the size of the seller and depending on the size of the buyer. So we're just trying to get people on board. I say we. I'm not working with. I'm not get paid by them, but I've spent 2 years working on it. Didn't get to tell anyone, and this is the dream. If you go back to episodes 4 years ago of what I was doing on my channel, I was like, wouldn't it be cool if you could say I have a female green dragon pleco and citrus, and I need a male longfin green dragon, and I want to cross them. And so you make a wish list for a female green dragon, and then someone sees that and they're like, oh, I've got one, and then they can send it to you. Well, that's happening. That's now. All right, guys. I will see you later. If you enjoy, Discordia creates. Thank you. If you enjoy those the clips too, and the trips to the aquascaping shops and stuff, leave a comment on the videos. Let me know, because I have to decide like what to do with the money from the channel, from the ads and stuff. Right now, it's about $1,000 a month is all, but that's enough where I'm like kind of like feeling nihilistic, and I'm like, well, that's a trip to X, Y, or Z. Let's go film there. And I think we're just gonna have fun, try to, keep the spirit of the channel the way it is. And just as more of us are a part of this community, I just hope everyone continues to be incredibly awesome, as you guys always are. I'll talk to you guys later. I know there's other live streams rolling now, and we will have a great time talking tomorrow morning, and probably on Tuesday, the day of the Tues. Okay, guys, bye. I'll talk to you later. Much love. Love you like chicken. Bye. Sign out.